Um, Unfortunately, we start a little bit late, about 20 minutes late. We're not going to take that much time anymore, but we're going to ask Viola to come and lead us in prayer.
Whatever we are going to do today here, may your presence be here, guide us, and may this day be a day to remember, be a day that will help us also to help other people that will be needing our help, because that is the reason why we are here today. We ask you to bless us all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thanks so much for the prayer. We are going to ask Ms. Agaba Lucy to come introduce to us Life at Zero.
Welcome everyone. Good morning, our live viewers and participants. Good night, good evening. I would like to start by introducing myself to you. My name's Agaba Lucy Baptist. I am the Secretary General for Life at Zero Development Initiative Limited of Canada. We are very excited to have you with us tonight. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I would like to welcome you to this workshop tonight. I would like to welcome you to this workshop of anti-racism educational awareness organized by Life at Zero Development Society of Canada with funding from Alberta government. This workshop is the first of its kind that has been organized by Life at Zero Development Organization to the public. With us here tonight, we have different representatives from all the race in Canada. We have representatives from immigrants community of Ethiopians, immigrant communities of South Sudanese, and representatives of the host community, the indigenous people of Alberta. I would like also to recognize the presence of our board of members, our brothers and sisters who have traveled all the way from Calgary, especially our brother, Mr. Ayel. You're most welcome. And our brother, Saul, our guest speakers, Madam Aisha Ainili, Dr. Furangi, you are most welcome to this workshop tonight. It is an honor for us to have you here. We know most of you have canceled your work schedule today to be with us here. So we appreciate it very much. Right now, let me introduce to you our organization. Who we are. Life at Zero Development Initiative Limited is a registered Alberta non-profit organization that was established by passionate African-Canadian individual in 2018 to address challenges and guide the aspiration of newcomers to a meaningful integration into the community of Alberta. Secondly, we create awareness and connect immigrants with the available support system to lawfully process and reunite with their loved ones through providing information and enhancing settlement processes. What we do in our organization, we assist and provide service to newcomers through teamwork by collaborating and networking with various support systems made up of a pool of volunteers and non-profit organizations within Alberta. In our organization specifically, we assist newcomers with initial resettlement tasks such as carrying out need assessment to know their needs and connect them to the various support systems that offers such kind of services. We also help in finding housing for the newcomers. We assist in enrolling of immigrant children in schools. We support in securing employment opportunities to our newcomers. We link newcomers to language service providers within the community closer to their residents. We help them access healthcare and also shopping. We provide orientation for adjustment to Canada Multicultural Society. Our vision. We envision a world where human rights are upheld and people have an opportunity to exercise their full potential in a safe society that respects and responds effectively to the concerns and the needs of its citizens. We are a societal organization where immigrants and refugees can reach their full potentials in environment which enhances self-esteem and respect for all. Our mission statement, we provide settlement, we integrate the newcomers into the host communities and assist refugees and immigrants to attain successful self-sufficient lifestyle into their new home in Canada. We fully participate in Black History Month, multicultural events, and festivals that honor our legacy as African Canadian, because this event contribute positive aspect to our communities and focus on the values that recognizes the daily contribution we as African Canadian make to create a better place in Canada. Our values. We are forward and committed to inspiring communities. We do this by committing to inspire our communities through educational workshops and trainings. Act of kindness, we strive to do things that help newcomers and immigrants to smile and be happy in their communities. Impact positive changes on others. We connect newcomers to language centers and secure employment that enables them to live a happier lifestyle within their communities. Diversity and inclusion. We recognize, we appreciate and embrace our diversity because that is what defines us as multicultural society in Alberta. Social justice. We strive to ensure newcomers and immigrants have equal privileges and opportunities to the available resources within their surrounding in Alberta. With these remarks, I wish you all a fruitful workshop. I just have one announcement to make. We have t-shirts, they are for free, but if anyone wants to make a donation, you are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy, for the well done job. We are so proud of you, and especially being our SG, so it's and I'm going to welcome Madam Ms. Asha Arabi, and she's one of the great mentor for Life at Zero itself since its initiation back in the days, and she worked for gender and development expert. I mean, she's she's a gender and development expert and international consultant with the United Nations. Welcome, Ms. Asha.
Thank you very much, and congratulations for this great initiative. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is an honor for me to be here today on this special event on anti-racism educational awareness, a project that is being implemented by the Life at Zero Development Initiative and which is funded by the government of Alberta. Let me take this opportunity to introduce myself to you. My name is Asha Anhiri Arabi, a Black woman and an immigrant originally from South Sudan, East Africa. I have a Bachelor of Arts in International Development Studies from St. Mary's University in Halifax and a Master of Arts in International Development Studies from Dalhousie University, majoring on women, peace building and post-conflict reconstruction. I was one of the most fortunate people who migrated to Canada almost 20 years ago. This was through a scholarship that was offered by the Canadian government through the World University Service of Canada, WUSC. This scholarship met my dreams, the dream of a refugee girl from a refugee camp of having a better life to come true. When I first arrived in Canada, I was received by the students and the university staff from St. Mary's University in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where I was taken straight to the campus, you can imagine, right from the airport to the campus. Everything was so different, but not impossible. This was the beginning of everything for me, and it was upon me to either succeed or not to succeed. The news of the arrival of a new refugee student in the campus quickly went around, and everybody wanted to know me, and also to hear the story of Africa, including the wars that my country, Sudan by then, and now South Sudan, was experiencing. The environment was very friendly, and I will forever be grateful to Canada for giving me the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to talk about the concept of multiculturalism in Canada. Multiculturalism in Canada was officially adopted by the government of Canada during the 1970s and 1980s. The Canadian federal government has been described as the instigator of multiculturalism and as an ideology because of its public emphasis on the social importance of immigration. Canada is a multicultural country. Canadians come from a vast range of nations, races, religions, and heritage. The government of Canada values the population diversity and tries to protect the cultural heritage of its citizens through the Canadian Multiculturalism Act. The government encourages Canadians to take pride in their language, religion, and heritage, and to keep their customs and traditions as long as they do not break any Canadian laws. For example, you cannot come and practice polygamous marriage in Canada, you'll be breaking the law, or practicing the female genital mutilation, which happens in many countries. Those ones will be, breaking the Canadian laws. As long as your culture stays within the legal aspect of the Canadian society, then you'll find to practice your culture. Despite Canada's multicultural heritage and policies, it was difficult for me as a new immigrant in Canada to adjust to new customs, ways of daily living, and social system that was very different from that of my country of origin. Within a few weeks of my arrival in Canada, I was invited by my friend and classmates for a barbecue to one of the houses outside the university campus. I was very excited to go for that party, and upon arrival at the party place, I realized that everyone was eating and drinking except me. I was told that I was supposed to carry my meat, chicken, and drinks with me for the party. I went home without eating. This was the culture of my new home, and it was upon me to learn my lesson from my first experience in Canada. Though with time, things changed. I was able to visit other Canadian homes, and it was not necessary for me to carry any food. So the beauty of Canada is the diversity of people and the respect that people have for every culture. This was also unique for me, having come from a place where diversity was seen as an obstacle as opposed to an opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to talk briefly about the concept of anti-racism in Canada. Multiculturalism is regarded as the future of Canada's national identity. Yet, despite the diverse population, racialized Canadians are systematically excluded from full participation in society through personal and structural forms of racism and discrimination. And this is mostly done through institutions or through institutional racism. Discrimination is an action or decision that treats a person or a group badly for reasons such as race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, age, sex, marital status, family status, disability, and so forth. These reasons, also called grounds, are protected under the Canadian Human Rights Act. So in case anybody's right is violated, please reach out to the Canadian Human Rights Commission for the case to be settled. Racism divides communities, breeds fear, and fuels animosity. Addressing racism and discrimination is a long-standing commitment of the Canadians who see our country's diversity as a source of strength. Canada is strong, and in spite of our differences, but because of them. Unfortunately, Canada is not immune to racism and discrimination. Challenges remains when it comes to fully embracing diversity, openness, and cooperation. As you can see, everything is well documented, but sometimes the implementation of some of these policies becomes a challenge. It is vital that Canada stands up to discrimination perpetrated against any individual or group of people on the basis of their religion or ethnicity. The government of Canada should commit to engaging the public on a new federal anti-racism strategy, which was developed recently while exploring racism as it relates to employment and income support, social participation, and this can be through access to arts, sports, leisure, and justice. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by talking about unconscious biasness. Unconscious bias are social stereotypes about certain groups of people that individuals form outside their own conscious awareness. Everyone holds unconscious beliefs about various social and identical groups And these biases stem up from tendency to organize social worlds by categorizing people. The common unconscious statement I had when I first arrived in Canada were, I studied with John, and John was not a nice person. He was from Africa. Do you know John? And most of the time I was forced to explain that Africa was not a country, but rather a continent with a diverse group of people forming different languages and different, different background. Some of them also asked me that, I heard that you Africans don't have bed to sleep on in your country, and you sleep on trees. Is this true? My response was that, yes, we don't have beds, but I believe your ambassadors always feel very comfortable sleeping on those beds. Jokingly, of course. And some of them also, told me that we heard on the TV that Africans are starving. Hope you're not eating too much over there to compensate for that food you never had when you were growing up as a child. And I said, yes, in the 90s you heard about the starvation that happened, and through the natural calamities that happened in Ethiopia, you saw on the TV, but that does not mean that Ethiopians don't have food, Africans don't have food. Calamities happens and then it goes and then life goes on. So yes, we do have food in Africa, and mostly organic food. And then some of them also talked about, I have never heard about, I've never had a friend, black friends before, and I think I like your race. And this forced me to say that despite our race, we are all the same people with the same blood flowing on our veins. So ladies and gentlemen, some of these statements are said out of unconsciousness, not because somebody wants to undermine you, but because they have access to very limited information about you. So sometimes instead of us feeling bad about some of these statements that are being altered, to us, it's always good we take time to educate people on who we are and where we're coming from and the beauty of the diversity in this country. Thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to be here today. God bless you and God bless Canada. Thank you.